Now guys, let's talk a little bit about the muscles and the bones and how they react with each other in the torso, and we will, in the next video, we'll go to the legs. So, first and foremost, we have, like I said, the rib cage here, and it's going to the back, something like this, the rib cage. But we don't see that much in the back, except if we bend too much forward, and then some ribs are starting to show here. We don't care about that in this moment. We care about the muscles, how the rib cage is connected to the pelvis here, in this area. It's very interesting. So I have some footage here from Anatomy for Sculptures, of course. See, Anatomy for Sculptures, very good. And the logo is here, you see. So the thing is, we have those muscles that come from the back. These muscles are attached to the scapula. And exactly, so if those muscles here, those serratus inferior, I'm not sure how it's called, so I don't, say it, but it has some like fingers that are intersecting with the other muscles, like fingers almost. The thing is, we have those here, and they're visible on very muscular person, not so, but some lean persons. We can see the back muscle is covering them here, so they are not visible until they release their bodies from below this back long muscle that goes right down to the pelvis. But for this muscle a little bit later, for now, those muscles here. So they are almost horizontal, not exactly, but a little bit tilted. And they are, for example, sharp. Let's make them sharp. And then from the bottom of each muscle, there is another muscle going into the abdomen. And this whole muscle here is one muscle, but you see its tendons, its fibers, how they go like this, and then go down, 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 and suddenly they go like this here. So, and it's going below this back muscle that we will talk about it now. So this back muscle is, and okay, let's say what this muscle is responsible for. It's responsible for tilting the body from side to side. Let's smooth those muscles. It's good even on female to just draw them and then smooth them, because they leave a little bit of a mark and it helps to have a little bit more variety in the body. But the most important thing is the overall forms. That's why we will pay more attention to them than to other things. Let me just fix this here and like this. Okay, so the pelvis, the front part of the pelvis will be of course on the front. For example, you see the distance from here to here, and the pelvis is around this area. It's here, and this muscle is going upwards, sometimes even backwards a little bit. So it's going from here, it's going upward and a little bit back, and it creates this kind of a recession here. But it's almost never inside like this. It's not. So it's like, especially on female, I will say it one more time, and I will say it a lot more times. Females, everything is very subtle. So all the muscles are there, but they are very subtle. If we make them huge, big, it will not be good. For example, I've seen Wonder Woman. They draw Wonder Woman, very good drawings of Wonder Woman. But sometimes they draw her with too thick neck and too big muscles, and it's not very sexy for me, for at least. And I think sexy women are what we have to do. So clavicle is going a little bit upward. The shoulder is going a little bit down, and then this will go a little bit below, before the clavicle it will end, then clavicle, and then we'll go. But we will fix that probably later when we are detailing. For now, let's see what is this back muscle here. This yellow muscle is pretty big. So this is muscle, very thin and very like with big plane, and it starts from here. This here in the back, this part is tendon, very big tendon that connects this muscle with the with the spine of the pelvis. The spine of the pelvis is this upper part of the pelvis here. Or it's not, but we will call it spine of the pelvis. We don't care. So it's going, it's starting, let me try to draw it. It's starting from here like this. This is the muscular part is starting from there. And here it will start like this. And this form here is not from this muscle. It's from a muscle below that is called erector spinatus. I'm not sure exactly, but it's a muscle that comes from the pelvis, and it's attached to the, I told you about this muscle though. It's attached to the spine, and it's thicker in this bottom part. So we'll have the forms here in the bottom, and then they are covered by those muscles. They are also here, but not that prominent. So now let's continue. So this muscle, we can draw it on her, but then we will have to hide it. It's going from here below the traps. You see, traps are here. Below the traps it starts, and it's going outside, and it connects to where? Yeah, so it holds itself to the over the spine and the pelvis, but it connects again into the arm, into here somewhere, you know. So it helps to you know, to pull the arm back when we're climbing, where we're making pull-ups. This muscle is working. That's why the guys who are swimming also, they have very big and developed those muscles. Also here is the scapula, and on the scapula we have one more muscle that it's pulling the arm back. It's very strong and very prominent. It's kind of this shape here, very bulky, on the bottom of the scapula. And we can easily find the bottom of the scapula when we see this shape. The bottom of the scapula obviously will be here, because this muscle is attached, the scapula is going through here, and it's attached to the bottom of the scapula and going up to the arm and pulling the arm back. When we roll, when we pull up, this muscle is working. This, and also the yellow one. So mostly pulling are done with these muscles, but also the scapula is pulled by this muscle that I drawn before. It's kind of like this. It sits below the traps, and it's also pulling the scapulas together, so it could work also. And also, of course, the big traps muscle, which is also working, pulling the scapulas. So with that, maybe pulling part of the legs, part of the arms too, backwards. So that's why your back is working when you are pulling something, and your front part, the chest and the front part of the shoulders, is working when you're pushing something. Like doing push-ups mostly will affect your chest muscles and your front shoulder muscles. So front shoulder is here, and the chest, of course, is here. That's what I wanted to say about this. Let's increase the size of the abdomen. Let's see what kind of shapes are here in the abdomen and what kind of shapes are in the back. So while I'm drawing here, I'm sculpting, I am, let's see some scan. This is one of the things I've done for another course, but I'm not selling this course. But it sells very well, although I'm not selling it, whatever. It doesn't matter, it's a good course. I'm trying to find the scans. Okay, so we see how these forms are affecting here. So the rib cage, and then here she probably has pretty well developed these muscles here. One of them is visible. It's a pretty complex shape, but most of the time we can do it very easily by just marking where the rib is, where the rib cage is. Above the rib cage is mostly nothing, except maybe a few ribs could be shown. It depends on the pose, but on our pose, how we are doing it, she will be like with the chest forward, and even more than now. When I do the legs, I will probably fix the pose, but I need to be something like this. Very prominent forward position. Why? Because it looks cool. And the, one of the ideas here is for our model to look cool and to make our models look cool. That's one of the ideas. And the pose is kind of a very, very important. When you do just a regular pose like this, it's not super sexy. But if you do something like very much in the front and the butt will be in the back and there will be a big curve here in the back, then you will have probably a very kind of a sexy shown body. On the back, let me show you the back. So here we'll have, the traps, how they're going here. Then you have the scapula. Let me show you with drawing. So here is, you see, this is the end of the clavicle here. And then the scapula is going on the back. This is the scapula. Let's find the scapula here. Probably it's around this area, like this. Yes. So the scapula is something like that. And from here, this will be the traps, and this will be this diamond shape here on the traps. And you see how this shape is going down. It's very nice. And if we draw it, it will be, not draw, but yeah, if you sculpt it or draw it, it will be nice addition to our model. I will smooth the scapulas because I don't want them to be that visible, but we have to make them. They are very, very important bony landmark. And we will talk about the bony landmarks later. And definitely they are pretty important for geometry, for anatomy. Geometry, what? Okay, anatomy is mathematics. No, it's not. Some people will say everything is mathematics, but I don't think everything is mathematics, especially anatomy. It has some mathematics, of course, but whatever. So, sometimes the scapula seems like it's going down like this. But what this is here, if you see it on some people, is the muscle that I just shown you, this muscle, because it's attached to the bottom of the scapula. We start from the bottom of the scapula here, and it's going like this in the front. And then from here, it's going down like this. Another muscle is going there. And of course, it's not very like separated like here, because this yellow muscle, the back muscle, the thin yellow muscle is going over it and it's covering these separations, but sometimes it's bulging here. And from some positions, you will see this line that's going from here and always goes like in the back and then finishes around here, because here we have, especially in female, we have fat pads. And those fat pads also cover this area here, but they cannot cover 2 points in this direction here. And I will show them in a minute. And after that, we'll have our erectus spinae, I think was the name of the muscle. But we are going through too much detail now before we are having the main form completely finished. But probably it's not a problem. I hope you appreciate that I'm trying to explain how the things are working here and how everything is connected together. So here we'll have some kind of ligaments that are connecting this part with the bottom part, and up we'll have a big sheets, some sheets, not just one, few sheets. One of the sheets contains those muscles. They are connected to this sheet, and above it another sheet is connecting, and there are other muscles, very tiny muscles here that don't show on the surface most of the time. But obviously what I was trying to say is that we have this rib cage, and then we have this a little bit of a dimple in here most of the time, because those muscles are coming from here. Rib cage is here, we have a dimple, and then we'll have this muscle going here. It's coming from above. There are a lot of complex shapes going on here. So when you're drawing, it's good to understand. So if you have this book or another similar book, but this is the best, I'm telling you, because I've learned from a lot of anatomies. I've studied in the beginning, maybe 20 years ago, from one anatomy book, which was Bames Anatomy. It was very famous back in the days, was the most famous in Bulgaria, where I'm from. And after that, I was studying Bridgman Anatomy, and I have, let me get it, I will pause the video. Okay, so I have made a human figure. This human figure is, let me show it to you bigger. Let's try. Bigger. Yeah, it's missing a few fingers. I will have to glue them together, but it's decent. It's not the best, but it shows a lot of muscles. You see those here in the back, how they are starting, you know, and they're going around. And those serrated ones here, you see the chest, you see the shoulders, you see the traps in the back, very prominent. These muscles here that I told you about, that attach to the scapula. We don't see a scapula enough here, and that's one of the problems. But the arms are pretty good. You see, they have everything, and I will explain it here. They have biceps, brachialis, triceps. They have these muscles here, the ridge muscles, and they have the flexors, the extenders. They have everything. The legs also pretty nice. It's very expressive. And this is from Bridgman's Anatomy. I watched only Bridgman Anatomy for this. And you see here, this is the elephant. But be careful, elephant is dangerous. They're big animals. You don't have to, you know, be careful with them. Dangerous. Whatever. Okay, so let's continue. I will tell you more about this where I studied anatomy, but let's see female back and see what's going on. So we have this kind of dimples in this area here. And this is not the best back you can see, but it's working because you see those kind of fat pads here. They're a little bit more prominent that we will do them, but they will be there. So we will pay attention to them. This dimple here, I will tell you about it in the next video because this is where the greater trochanter is hitting. It's not hitting, it's under there, but it's not very visible in female because there are a lot of fat, but we can probably see it around this area here. And so the pelvis is around, let me try to see. So the pelvis is around this area here, and then the pelvis down, and then we have here this, and probably, yes, so the femur, the main bone of the upper leg, and the only bone of the upper leg, is going to be making a dimple around this area. And this will be the back muscle attached to the scapula and then to the tail. And then it will go, the back muscle will go down like this and attach some of its fibers attached to the femur, but some of them attached to one very interesting thing here. But we'll talk about it maybe in the next video, or some of the other. And this here is fat pad. The bottom part here is a fat pad. So yeah, and a lot of fat also here, but the main form remains. So let's erase this, and I will tell you. So Bridgman was one of the other artists I've learned from. Loomis, Andrew Loomis, also has very good drawing, kind of anatomy book, where he's showing the human body, but he was, I think, fashion illustrator, so his forms are a little bit more heroic and stuff, which is not bad at all. So it's worth looking at, Andrew Loomis. And also now, recent days, this Anatomy for Sculptures book is amazing tool, but I'm not looking only this anatomy books for reference. I'm looking for images of scans, very important. I'm looking at other people things that they done. So this, for example, looks amazing. And a few years ago, when I saw it, I'm not sure who made it, but in ArtStation, I probably will tell you who made it, but we'll see. So it's amazingly good looking. I mean, the proportion, everything. The legs are a little bit too short, but it looks kind of natural. The thing is that one thing now I notice is the chest. So those kind of things in the chest, I don't think they are very, because this guy is very ripped. So the chest muscles, their fibers are going like this. So they're always in the armpit, because they are attached to the arm. And yeah, they are, in this case, they're going like down here or here or here. It's not very nice, but the rest, I cannot find too many weak points. It's just amazing. And the legs and the back muscles here, the calves, they're wow, pretty good. Although here we have a little bit of issues in the elbow area. Although the knee area is super nice. So many people are having problems with legs, and this guy just nailed the legs. They are very, very nice. So yeah, we'll talk about it in the legs video. But for now we have to finish it, and next time we will make the legs. At least we will start them, and we will see. And when everything starts to come together, we will just adjust some things. I will tell you why and what's wrong, and yeah, very good. So bye for now.